Welcome to MojoPlays, and today things are going to get spooky. Silent Hill hides its lore behind metaphors and in-game clues, but dedicated fans have managed to build the lore into an understandable text that fans have studied for hours on end. These are 10 Silent Hill enemies with disturbing backstories. Let's do it. Before we continue, we publish content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of our latest videos. Lisa. Admittedly, PT wasn't an official Silent Hill game, but it was a well-known teaser for Silent Hills, so we're going to include it. Lisa from PT is undeniably one of the most terrifying monsters in the Silent Hill franchise, primarily because there's just no freaking way to stop her. PT is a walking experience, forcing players to watch as Lisa haunts them to progress, rather than hit her with a massive piece of wood. Lisa is unusually tall and has an unsettling twitch to her head, and may I just say, ew. She wears a blood-soaked, filthy dress, and her disgusting smile, paired with her brown stains around her mouth and gory eye socket, make her one of the creepiest people to ever exist. And I knew a guy called Bobby the Butt Grabber. Let's look at her backstory. Lisa was murdered by her husband, who used a knife to kill her. He gouged at her right eye and stabbed her in the stomach while she was pregnant, causing the fetus to fall to the floor. It doesn't get much worse than that. Robbie the Rabbit. Robbie the Rabbit has made an appearance in nearly every Silent Hill game, but his debut in Silent Hill 3 is particularly memorable for the unsettling impact it has on players. This is his backstory to many fans, as every appearance since reminds us of this unsettling installment. Robbie was introduced as the mascot for Lakeside Amusement Park, with oversized mascots of Robbie being found slumped in various locations throughout the park. The thing that makes Robbie so unsettling is the mystery of whether a dead body lies within these figures, and to this day, the mystery remains unanswered, leaving a lingering sense of dread that persists even when he appears as mere doll merchandise in other games. Grey Children. The original Silent Hill is over 20 years old, yet its grey children remain terrifying. These are the first monsters players face when the town shifts into the other world, and being surrounded by a swarm of grey children is still one of the most chilling moments in the series, highlighting the need for a remake. I experienced this at my best friend Jack's birthday party. He got so scared he had to leave the room, and I single-handedly ruined his birthday. Worth it. The largely accepted interpretation suggests that the Grey Children represent Alessia Gillespie's twisted perception of her classmates, serving as haunting reminders of the torment and ridicule she endured, like when they scrawled "Go home" and dropped dead on her desk. This idea is reinforced by the childish laughter the Grey Children emit while attacking Harry. Their behavior mimics that of real children as they cling to his legs, and even though they're children, I'd kick them so goddamn hard I'd break a toe. Victim Ghosts. Silent Hill 4 The Room is an underrated installment in the series. This entry strips away any sense of safety, as even Henry Townsend's home base apartment is frequently assaulted by Walter Sullivan's numerous victims. These terrifying, decaying foes cannot be defeated and inflict headaches and psychic trauma on Henry just by proximity. At their most intense, they can even reach into him and grasp his heart. Admittedly, I've already spoiled their backstory, but enduring these creatures for the majority of the game and finally learning that not only are they the victims of the previous tenant, but that you could very possibly become one yourself is a feeling of dread unmatched in the series. Gumhead. Gumheads are unsettling ape-like creatures from Silent Hill 4 The Room. They emit monkey-like sounds when attacking, often coming at players in packs, making them a formidable threat. Uniquely, they are among the few enemy types in Silent Hill that can wield weapons, lending them an eerie sense of sentience, a trait that mirrors their origin. The Gumheads symbolize Walter Sullivan's misanthropic perspective on society, reflecting his childhood fears of adults and his general negative view of humanity. Their ability to wield weapons draw a connection to authority and makes them a terrifying vision of what Walter Sullivan experienced before becoming a serial killer. The nurses. In Silent Hill, the nurses typically embody the protagonist or an affected side character's perception of the medical staff who cause them distress. For instance, in Silent Hill 1, these creatures are born from Alessa's memory of her time in the hospital and the nurses who tended to her, including Lisa Garland. While not directly part of the Order, they acted as its puppets by keeping Alessa alive. Nothing is scarier in Silent Hill than the creatures that are born from horrible memories. Thank God nobody's had a negative experience with a dentist in Silent Hill. I don't want to see that. Asfixia.
Isn't mine. It belonged to Nora.
Nora? They turn on the gas!
Alice in Wonderland might not seem like a source for horror, but Silent Hill skillfully uncovers its darker side. If they touch the Little Mermaid, we're all doomed. Asfixia is a monster from Silent Hill Homecoming. In life, she was Nora Holloway, a child fascinated by the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland, who was tragically sacrificed by being suffocated by her mother. In Silent Hill's Twisted Realm, Nora is transformed into a caterpillar-like creature with multiple writhing arms and a tail composed of torsos. Instead of feet, she walks on her hands, symbolizing her death by choking. In the climactic boss fight, pulling apart the hands over her mouth forces Asfixia to breathe, and this breath ironically leads to her demise, a reversal of her suffocation. Dark Heather. The memory of Alessa from Silent Hill 3 would be a terrifying monster to face in reality. This dark counterpart to protagonist Heather Mason, who is a popular cosplay choice among fans, embodies the mind of Alessa, and if you don't know Alessa's backstory, strap in. Alessa was bullied relentlessly at school due to her supernatural abilities. We're going to skip over some of the horrible earlier childhood experiences to get to her at only 7 years old, where she burned alive in a house fire. Unfortunately for her, she survived, but only because her mother kept her alive with incantations. For 7 more years, she suffered on the brink of death while her mother caused extra torment in her catatonic state. Now, imagine her spirit brought to life in front of you. Terrifying. The twin victims. The twin victims in Silent Hill 4 The Room are among the most unsettling monsters in the game. Tied to the tragic backstory of Billy and Miriam Locane, 2 children murdered by the antagonist Walter Sullivan. The twins were part of Walter's 21 Sacraments ritual, in which he killed 21 individuals as part of a dark sacrificial process to bring about his rebirth. Their deaths represent the 7th and 8th victims. In the twisted world of Silent Hill, they appear as large conjoined figures with oversized childlike heads, carried by adult-sized bodies that walk on their hands. And in perfect Silent Hill fashion, they weren't just murdered, they were dismembered with an axe in their parents' front yard. And they were children. Jesus. Abstract Daddy. There is no more unsettling character than Angela, and once you learn her backstory intertwined with the monster Abstract Daddy, her vibe starts to make sense. Abstract Daddy is a monster that looks like 2 figures intertwined in an intimate posture. To be precise, they are in a reclining sexual position over a bed frame, trapped in this position by the flesh covering its body. Not the flesh on their bodies, I mean an extra layer of flesh, like the 2 bodies have been vacuum sealed in flesh. Ugh. It is a manifestation of the experiences Angela sustained from the sexual abuse by not only her brother, but her father as well. Angela ended up dealing with this trauma by murdering her brother and father, causing them to manifest in Silent Hill as this monstrosity. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos.